Hey guys, in this video I'm going to show you the OER Business 1 course. This is an Introduction to Business course that I created with OER content from Lumen Learning. So included in this course site are a lot of other important items such as PowerPoints, test banks, assignments, and discussions. Should you choose to use them, you can always create your own. So when you first open this site, you are going to have, it'll open up to the modules, and you will see these instructor resources. These are pages to help you use the content in this course. The real important one, in my opinion, is this textbook and assignment information. This explains that this course contains probably more assignments than you need, and according to Lumen, they recommend assigning one discussion or one assignment per chapter rather than all of them. That's important because you don't want to overload your students, and that's a good thing to look at. So, and that'll be more clear when we continue on the tour. So if we scroll down, this is, and by the way, you never publish the instructor module. That's just for you to look at. You can click on this. Students won't see it though. As we move down, the next module, which is published, this is for your students. This is from the OEI. This is their sort of online orientation for Canvas, how to do various stuff in Canvas. If you think your students don't need this, you can always unpublish it, but it's a good thing to have, I think. As we work our way down, here are some student resources. These are the guidelines for the written assignments and discussions. You might want to edit these if you have a different way you want to set up these assignments and the grading. Basically, the written assignments, it's going to just, it's basic stuff, what they want. Content, grammar, citations, plagiarism, the usual stuff here. But you might want to change some of this. For instance, here's the file formats. You might want to take some of these out or add a couple more. It's up to you. So you can edit these just by clicking Edit in Canvas. And then if we move along in this module, you can see here's the discussion rubric. This, again, you might want to edit this. This rubric is actually from a different Lumen course. I couldn't find the discussion rubric for the business course, but that's okay. This is just pretty general etiquette and stuff. And then here is the rubric. This is probably the thing you would want to change. They base the discussions, they give it, I think, 20 points, so 5 criteria and up to 4 points per criteria. Again, maybe you just want to do 10 points and eliminate some of these. It's up to you. So feel free to edit this. I just put this in there as a sample, and you can also just leave it as is if you want. So we'll go back to the modules and we'll move down here. And the way this course is set up, they have a sort of a fictional business that sort of you follow as a student, and you're sort of tasked with helping out. It's like a dog food company, I think, called Salty Paws. I left this unpublished, this module, but this is all the information that students would need if they were going to do the assignments that are related to this case study. You're tasked with helping hire and manage and create marketing stuff for this fictional company. So if you choose to use the assignments that are associated with Salty Paws, then you definitely want to publish this module so your students could access it. All right, and as we move down, there's a couple more resources for your students. Chapter PowerPoints. Rather than include these in each chapter, I just made one page that has all of the chapter PowerPoints on them. that's just because I was a little bit lazy. But you know, they're there. They're in there for you. You can link to these anywhere else in the modules. If you'd rather put these with the chapter modules, you can. All of these are also in the files. So if you wanted to link to them, they're in the files under chapter PowerPoints. There's a folder here with all of them. So it's pretty easy to link to these in the modules if you want to reorganize the PowerPoints as you see fit. And then we move down the modules here, and this is kind of where we start to get into the course for your students. I put these, I like to put the actual ebook into Canvas. Some people link out to Lumen Learning. It's up to you really, but the way this course is designed, the students get the readings and then a discussion, and you're expected to pick one of these two. If you pick any at all, you can always create your own. And then an assignment, there's one of two. You don't want to give them both. And then a quiz, and I have a 20-question chapter quiz. Again, you can edit any of these, take any of these out. I haven't published any of them, but we'll get to that in a minute. So for the readings, these are just exactly as they are in Lumen. And what I've done is, so the student clicks on the first one and it shows up right in Canvas. And then they can click next at the bottom. They could click next here, but they might get a little lost. So try to remind them to click on this next here. And it basically goes to the next part of chapter 1 once they click that. And, you know, so they basically read the chapter here. And then when they're done, if you're going to use the discussions, you could publish one of two of these. So if I was going to use this, I have the non-salty Paws discussions on the top, and as the same with the assignment. So you might want to just ignore the salty Paws stuff. If that's the case, you can just use the top assignment and the top discussion and publish them. And you definitely want to add points to the assignments. Same with the quiz, is just a general quiz. So the way the discussions look like, they're just your typical discussions. Again, you may want to change, you know, this asks for your first post to be 100 to 200 words. You could change that and just say, I just want 3 sentences. But again, you know, just your standard stuff for discussions. And then if you want to use this, here's the salty Paws discussion. This is if they're sort of following along with that fictional business. And then we get to the assignments. The first assignment is always not associated with the salty Paws business. And it seems a little more simple in its design, which you might want, because it doesn't have, you don't have to keep referring back to that business. So this is more of a general assignment. Again, you're going to need to add points and due dates and all of that. I left that blank, but I did add the submission type, which is a text entry box or file upload. Again, you might want to change that as well. Or so to change any of these, you just click on the item and then click edit. And of course, you can add your points here. You can change your submission type if you want. You can, if you with the LA Community College District, you can add plagiarism review with VeriCite here. And then here's your dates below: open, close, due date, etc. So it's pretty easy to edit this stuff if you want to use it. And then we get to the quiz. You might want to organize the quizzes differently. Instead of a quiz per chapter, you could do like every 3 chapters, do a bigger quiz with 3 chapters. But I have it set up, you know, so each chapter has a quiz. And if you didn't want this, these are out of 20, but you can always edit the quizzes as well, just by clicking on the quiz and clicking edit. And, I have a 20-question quiz. I've shuffled the answers. I've given them a 40-minute time limit. You can change any of this stuff. I also didn't want to show the students the correct answers, and I've set it to show one question at a time. Some teachers prefer to show all the questions at once on one page, and if you put in the due dates and you want to show them the correct answers, I always recommend let students see the correct answers. Show them after the quiz has closed, so that they can't take the quiz and then pass the answers to their friend. If the answers only show up after the entire class can't do the quiz, that's a safer way to prevent cheating. But for now, I've left that unchecked. They're never going to see the correct answers unless you enable this. And I have it to show one question at a time, just because that's also a cheating sort of precaution, because then they can't just do a screenshot of all the questions. This makes it a little harder for them to sort of dig up the answers. But, it's a quiz. It's a multiple choice quiz. So, these aren't secure in this day and age. It's real easy for students to just Google answers and stuff. So, again, this is good to have just for review, but if you're just basing your entire course on multiple choice and true false, it's not good in this day and age. Anyways, enough of that. If you go to questions, right now it's picking 20 random questions from the first chapter. And I might retitle these. Right now the question banks are organized by chapter, but they don't have like chapter 1, chapter 2. They just have the name of the chapter, which is a little sort of hard to figure out. So I actually might do some work and actually name these test banks. But, if you want to edit this, you can just click on the pencil, and instead of 20 questions, you could pick 10 questions if you wanted a 10-question quiz. And there you go. You can just update it. Now it's a 10-question quiz. All right. If you wanted to make a 3-chapter quiz, you could create a new question group and, link it to a question bank. And then you would find the name of the second question bank. Again, I might rename these question banks so that they're a little easier for you to use. And so instead of just the title of the chapter, it actually will say like chapter 2, chapter 3. But anyways, there's information on editing quizzes in the instructor module. So if you just kind of are glossing over what I'm telling you right now, that's fine. You can always go back to your modules and look at the instructor information guide on editing quizzes. There you go. So that's pretty much it. All the chapters sort of follow this kind of format. There's chapter 2, readings, discussions, assignments, quiz, and so on down to the bottom. I have put in I put in a midterm at the sort of midpoint. It is down here. It's 100 points. It covers the first 8 chapters, and it's just 100 questions, multiple choice, 200 minutes. I always give them 2 minutes per question. And then there's a final at the bottom too, which is the same thing. It's all 16 chapters. It's about 6 questions per chapter, and it's 100 points as well. So you can use it if you want. If you want to use it, just publish it and put the dates in and stuff, or you can create your own. So that's a quick tour of this. This is going to be on the Canvas Commons just for LACCD. If you just type in OER Business, WLAC, or just WLAC is probably the easiest way to find it. And then you can easily import it into your Canvas course for your semester and help your students out with a free book, free course, all this good stuff. All right, thanks for watching.